Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The House Divided. We are officially in the college football playoff. The games start this weekend. We got some crazy matchups and some not so crazy matchups at all, which are actually a topic of conversation for the entire college football atmosphere and media. And we're entering the final stretch of the NFL regular season. A couple playoff teams have clinched already, and a couple more scenarios this week and a couple of big games.
Yeah.
Let's start off by recapping our bets from last time.
Yeah. Awful week for me here. 0-5 after building a comfortable positive lead here, back to close to 500. That 0-5 record last week pushed me to 56-52 on the year.
Yeah, for me, a 500 week at 2-2. Unfortunately, your style signature parlay failed on both ends for me.
Same.
But and then the one we agreed on also, but the ones that were mine led me to now be at a 31-27-1 for the year.
Yep. All right, let's go into, obviously, no college games this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into a few of these NFL games. First one, the Broncos continue to be atop of that AFC with another impressive win versus the Packers. Micah Parsons went down. I think Christian Watson also went down that game. What were your thoughts on this game and the outlook for both these teams coming to playoff time?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway from this game, other than which before that it was a shootout. It was a great game. Great, it could have even been maybe a Super Bowl preview is what we could have been watching. It was a great game. Bo Nix played a great game overall. Towards the end, I think he was able to lead him back well. Obviously, December Love is playing really well, as he usually does. But obviously, the biggest takeaway is what happened to Micah Parsons. The defense is going to change a lot without him. A defense that's been very solid, so very good with him. And when you lose a star that caliber, it's very, very concerning. So hopefully they have the pieces to be able to make up for that, by a committee. But it's gonna be hard for them. You as a Cowboy should know that it takes a committee to replace that.
Yeah, obviously, man, it takes.
But
a whole D-line to replace that guy.
Yeah. The other news is the Broncos clinch the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The division's basically theirs. I mean, they're 2 games ahead of the Chargers. Yeah. They do still have to play the Chargers, though. But yeah, they are real contenders for sure, both of these teams. I would have said that before the game, and now I want to see how Green Bay plays without Micah Parsons before I make that statement.
Yeah, I agree. I think, obviously, the biggest takeaway is those injuries, especially so late into the season, going into the playoffs for key players. On the Broncos side, I mean, another impressive game by Bo Nix, another impressive win. I think that's, 9 in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they haven't lost since.
They went 1-2. Yeah. You can't do that by accident, so this is a really good team. It's looking like the AFC is going to have to go through Denver, which is never an easy thing, so this team could make the Super Bowl, even though this should be Josh Allen's year to win the AFC. But, I mean, the Broncos are looking really good, and that defense with all those additions we mentioned in the offseason, it's kind of paying off. Obviously, it's hard to contain that passing game from Green Bay, but most of the season they've been pretty solid. And then Green Bay here, I think you just gotta grind out wins, and then in the playoffs anything can happen. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's still a game to be played against Chicago, I believe. So
this week, yeah.
Yeah, so there's still time to take the division lead back. Hopefully, without Micah, you can still be able to stop that offense that has had a good game this week against Cleveland.
Yeah, I think that's a very winnable game for them to take control of that division, to be honest.
All right, so let's talk about another team who is kind of trying to fight back and take their spot back at top of the division. The Buffalo Bills get a game on the Patriots. They get the big win. Josh Allen looks phenomenal. What are your takeaways from this game?
Yeah, that Drake May is not my MVP this season. He's got a great season, and the Patriots had a great year, but I think the big team games, except maybe that Buffalo first time they met, he had a decent game. He's kind of disappeared. 0 touchdowns. Trayvon Henderson had a massive game that run where he went that way and it was clogged, spin back, and had a wide open lane. That was really cool and impressive. Patriots defense struggled a little bit, but I mean, it's Josh Allen. You can only contain him so much, even though they contained him in the first half. Josh Allen, great comeback win to keep their AFC wildcard spot and try to fight for that division down the stretch. And like I mentioned, this to me, with no Mahomes, no Burrow, like maybe no Jackson, this should be Josh Allen and the Bills' year to come out the AFC with a lot of inexperienced teams and inexperienced quarterbacks in the AFC this year.
Yeah, to me it shows that the Bills won the way they're going to have to win all of this, which is on the back of Josh Allen. They can beat anybody, but it's going to take Josh Allen playing such a great game to do so. Obviously, you can
James
rely
Cook
on
had a
James.
big game.
Yeah, that was my next point. You can rely on James Cook at times, but it's those two. The defense is obviously going to allow, in the playoffs, 20-plus points a game minimum, I'd say. We're looking at one of the weaker defenses in the playoffs with Buffalo, so it's definitely going to have to be through Josh Allen, who is playing at a very, very elite level right now. Obviously, this game against New England was just sensational from him. From a New England Patriots side of things, your two toughest games against the Bills, they're both past. You went 1-1. That's the success, really, in rivalries like this. Still a big game this week against the Ravens. You can if you can get a big AFC win like this, hold on to that division lead. You don't want to get even with the Bills here. Hopefully Bakemas, Drake May can get rolling because he has slowed down a little these last couple of weeks, and obviously he didn't have the best game this week. So they're still in pole position for the division, and the situation is set up for them to be able to hold on to it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with a game against the Ravens, you never know. So.
Yeah, in Baltimore, I think the Ravens are favored by 3, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think this is a good Patriots team. I still think I don't see them coming out the AFC or even the AFC Championship game. But, I mean, it's a great building block from especially the last 3 to 4 years where they've been a bottom barrel team. And they're still young, and they're a couple pieces away. They can add this offseason with ease. So.
Yeah, I will say, to the fair, I could see them getting. I think when it comes to it, I think there's a scenario where I could realistically see. I'll say all seven of the AFC teams making a run. Well, I can't keep my team out, and that's the first team I'd cut out.
They're all very good teams, but I feel like they're all on the same level. Yeah. That's why I would give the edge to the Bills. But I saw it. Have you seen?
Only one team's got a QB that's won the Super Bowl.
That's true. Have you seen the post of the draft order and said oh, this is the Patriots' schedule? That made me up. But it was a great game, great comeback from the Bills, one they needed, and love to see it. And then this next one. Not the biggest game this weekend, but a big storyline. Rivers, after 5 years, coming back, 44 years old. First game versus a tough defense on the road in Seattle. What are your thoughts on Rivers this game, and could they maybe sneak into the playoffs with Rivers?
I don't think they can sneak in. They have too hard a schedule to be able to get in. They play 2 good opponents, and this team's not what it once was at the beginning of the year. While Rivers played better than I think a lot of the doubters thought he would, he had the touchdown. He was very fun to watch, one of the best feel-good stories in sports. He almost had it against one of the best defenses in the game, against one of the best teams in the game, against a great coach, against a great defensive coach, great defensive mind, and the way he was able to play. The fact that he's able to do that and outperform some of the young QBs that were playing this week. So all credit to him, but I don't think this is any realistic for a run for the Colts to be making. My bigger worry actually comes from Seattle's side. Defense did their job, 13 points against, sure, not the greatest offense right now, but the offense really concerned me against what hasn't been the strongest Indianapolis defense, only 16 points, I think, or 17 or 19. Is concerning.
Yeah, it was a lot of field goals. Yeah, I know that.
So it was concerning. I don't think Sam Darnold had the best game. So I want to be able to see them be able to build up more to what they've been in some games where they've dropped 42 points, 35 points over the course of a couple of weeks, especially heading into such a big game this week for their division as well. Yeah,
I think this was a situation where they maybe kind of looked ahead, especially their next game on a short week against an important game. And they weren't as prepared as they needed to be for the Colts. They got the W, that's all that counts. But, offensive looked a little sloppy.
Yeah.
And
and then I mean it makes sense. You want to look forward to the Rams,
Yeah.
especially since last time you threw 4 interceptions. So
and then on River side of it, the first 2 drives, obviously
a
little shaky.
Yeah,
The
Took
ball
him some time.
lofty a little bit, putting Tyler Warren in a tough sandwich.
There
But
was
after
one
that-
there was one where he threw it like put it kind of like on his hands, but it was just such a death throw. There were 4 people.
Oh, in the middle, yeah. And then, but
Hospital
after
balls
that,
at its
I mean, I
finest.
think he only missed 9 throws the whole game. Probably
Yeah.
7 of those were the first drive, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can't put all your hopes in a 44-year-old that hasn't played football in 5 years. But I think if maybe they had a little more games to give with the season, they can sneak into the playoffs. But I mean, they're in the hunt still, a game behind, and they have the Niners. I think the Jaguars one more time, and
Yeah.
then I forget who else. But unfortunate because this team started to look so good, and we hyped them up all season. Just even
The
before
injury
the
bug and
Daniel
a couple
Jones
of things, yeah.
injury, they still looked a little shaky. But we always thought this team could make some noise.
Yeah, the injury bug hit him with Sauce. Then Daniel Jones tried playing on a fractured leg, and that obviously ended up being his season ender a couple weeks later, and just bad from them both ends.
Yeah, unfortunate, but a good team to look for next year. And then let's move on to the predictions here for the NFL for next week. You kind of alluded to it.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football, Rams versus Seahawks in Seattle this time. Who takes control of the NFC West title and the top of the NFC here?
Last time, all year I've been saying the Rams are my favorite team in the NFC. I'm sticking by that. I think they're my favorite team in the NFC. I think they're the team that's going to play in the Super Bowl for the NFC. And last time I said the Seattle was going to get 1 win on them. They didn't do it last time. I think they do it just this time. I think they get 1 game on the Rams. I think Sam Darnold's going to prepare a little better. As you said, you alluded to it a little. I think they were looking ahead. I think you could tell. I think this defense is going to be able to shut down the Rams a little better than they did. I mean, they did well last time, especially they only got 21 points off 4 interceptions. No Devontae Adams is a real possibility in this game. And I just don't think Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions this time again. He's going to be more prepared. And I think he's going to be able to do just enough to be able to beat the Rams, who I think will struggle to be able to control the game as much if they don't have the ability to have another guy having to focus on a Devontae Adams and be able to contribute a little more to the run defense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with your breakdown. I'm also going to pick the Seahawks, even though I think the Rams are going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think maybe Seattle. I mean, the Rams can still win this division. I think Seattle can maybe lose to the Niners later in the year or in a couple weeks. But
I don't even know who has the tiebreaker between them.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I think with the Rams coming, Devontae injured, a little older team, especially offensively, short week, travel up to Seattle. Puka Nacua was caught on a stream with Aiden Ross and Neon, and Sean McVay got mad and told him to leave, and they were going to fine him $50K. So, unfortunately, I think Seattle, they were looking ahead. Obviously, they were in that game last time with 4 interceptions from Sam Darnold. There's no way he plays that bad again. And I think Seattle takes care of business on this one. And I think that defense shows why they're top 3 in the league and kind of... I mean, I think the Rams will still do their thing with or without Devontae.
it's going to be a close. It's going to be a great game.
But I think they're going to make it tough for them. All right.
I think it's the most exciting Thursday Night Football we've had all year for sure.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Well, because even if it was a big matchup earlier in the year, it doesn't have the stakes.
Now it's battle on the line between 2 great offenses and 2 great defenses.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. Let's move on to another NFC division battle here. Can the Bears get the upper leg in Chicago this time versus the Packers?
Historically, there's the Packers do own them, but I think this is kind of the moment for the Bears. I think they're going to have the benefit of Green Bay's best defensive player having just been out. You still haven't been able to solve. This is going to kind of be the first game. You're going to be experimenting a little. Chicago comes off of what's been one of their best games of the year, against Cleveland. They looked great defensively. They looked great offensively. Granted, against not the best Cleveland offense, but you performed, you delivered, you looked good. I think this is kind of the right time. I think they're getting hot at the right moment. Ben Johnson obviously knows the Packers pretty well. Spending all that time in Detroit, he's been able to beat him quite well with that offense, and I think I think this is kind of the moment where the Bears make the first real statement win that they've had this year. I mean, they've beat some good teams, but this is really a statement saying, no, we're the top of the division. We're going to keep it, and Green Bay can go fight for a spot in the wild card.
Yeah, I actually agree on this one too. I think kind of same situation, some injuries on the Green Bay side, and the Bears kind of rolling, and in Chicago, tough place to play. And I mean, Ben Johnson's created another Sonic and Knuckles up there in Chicago with Monangai and Swift. I think I saw last game they're the only two besides the real Sonic and Knuckles to get 500 plus rushing yards and 5 touchdowns this season. So they have a deadly duo, especially no Micah. Most likely, I think, like you said, they're going to take a little adjustment. A lot of players are going to have to step up. And I do think Chicago wins in another close and ugly game like they usually do.
I mean, that's the kind of games you get late in the year when divisions are on the line. So, especially teams that got to go play in the north, like the wet weather in Seattle.
Yeah, this one's on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, too, so that's going to be good. Actually, no, because I think it's at like 3, so the good college football playoff game would be done, and no one wants to see Tulane and JMU get killed, so I'd rather watch that.
Apparently not even Lane Kiffin, or who knows. Did you see that they Tulane invited him to come to their...
Really? On their sideline?
That's kind of... No, on their boxes, okay. In their boxes.
That's kind of sick, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know
if it was Ole Miss that fired Lane Kiffin, if it was like the other way, I would do it out of spite and tell him. He would, though. But that's funny. That's crazy.
All right, we got another big game against a couple of division leaders in the AFC. The Broncos, the one-seeded Broncos, are facing off against what I'm going to call the red-hot Jaguars. They're playing great football with Liam Cohen at the helm. Trevor Lawrence probably is coming off of the best game of his career. What are you looking forward to in this game? Predictions?
Yeah. So what I'm looking forward to is to see if we've seen this Jaguar offense rolling on the running game and passing game with Myers, and Brian Thomas is getting back to his old form from last year. And Trevor Etienne, even Trevor Lawrence said, hasn't seen him play that good even in college. Yeah. And they want a natty together. It'll be interesting to see how they do against a great defense like Denver in high altitude, tough environment, cross country. And then on the Denver side, I want to see if they can continue that offense going, Bo Nix cooking, and pick up their 10th win in a row. And I do think they do. I think they are fighting for this one seed. You know, Denver usually loves that home field advantage and bye week, so I am going to pick the Denver Broncos to beat the Jaguars here. But I do think it's going to be close, and I do think Trevor Lawrence has a good game, but I am picking the Broncos. It'll be interesting if they do put Pat Surtain the whole game on Brian Thomas, but I think that's a good matchup. I think Pat Surtain wins that one, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit of a hot take here. I think I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
All right.
I think this is kind of one of those weeks where, there's 2 big games in a row for the Broncos. They're going to suffer a little of that, not a trap, but a big game against the Jaguars, who are red hot. I like the way the defense has been able to play in some games. I think Lloyd is a star. And then that offense has just really gotten going. I think this is kind of the time where Trevor really needs to prove himself. He's looked good the last couple of games. This is the best defense he's played all year, in my opinion. And he needs to show out with the division on the line. Houston's creeping up. I like the way, as you mentioned, Brian Thomas Jr. is getting a lot better. Jacoby Myers has been a wonderful addition. And just that offense, that entire skill position group is really working well. And that's even without the player they invested the number 2 pick in.
Yeah.
So
I forgot he's on that team.
Yeah. So I think the Jaguars are right at the right time to be striking against Denver, who's had a couple of tough games. They have some more to look forward to. They still have to play the Chargers, which is going to be probably the most important game of their season, regular season, obviously. So I think this is kind of the right time where the iron's hot for Jacksonville to strike.
Does Jacksonville play the Texans again?
They had the horrible comeback loss, but I think that's the only time they've played, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at. Give me 1 second. Because, I mean, Texans are 1 game behind them, too.
Yeah.
Oh no, they already played twice.
Oh yeah.
Texans won one.
Texans won the horrible
And
comeback.
Jaguars won
the first one. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
3. Yeah. Yeah, the Texans defense is for real, man.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
That's scary, man.
With Stroud heating up the way he is right now.
Yeah, true. Nico Collins finally justifying a first-round fantasy pick. All right, let's go to the last game here. Your team basically need to win all the games. You don't want to leave it in the hands of the Ravens.
Doubt for the Ravens, man.
But the Lions also need to win here to keep that fight for that last playoff spot in the NFC, or maybe even the division. But I think that's kind of gone. Who you got in this big matchup? I think is it in Detroit?
The Lions are 7-point favorites because it's in Detroit.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna stick it. I'm gonna go with my team. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers has just now played 2 good games in a row. The defense just played a good game against Miami. Yeah, it's Miami, and we're facing what is one of the best offenses in the NFL. Jared Goff's playing phenomenal football, and they have weapons galore in Detroit. But that defense is a problem for them. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be nowhere to strike. I think that's where he's at his best. It's a defense he knows well. He's been in that division for so long. So I think he's going to be able to strike. I think he's going to play a good game. I think we've been able to get DK going these last couple of weeks. He's played well. I think he's going to be able to be kind of an X factor there. Obviously, what you're looking at is TJ Watt coming back. But I liked what I saw of the defense without him. I don't think I would have been able to say that at any point since 2017 that we looked okay on defense without TJ Watt, but we did. I think Joey Porter has been the best corner in the league for the last 4 weeks. I think he steps up again this week. I think he's be able to shut down whether they put our number 1 corner on the number 2 and he shuts down J-Mo, or whether he's on Amon-Ra all game. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with that mentality, but I think he's just a sensational player, and I think we need to be able to stay 1 game ahead of the Ravens, and I think we are fighting. This is kind of the moment Mike Tomlin teams somewhat live up to, where they make those stretches at the end of the regular season to be able to get into the playoffs. That's kind of where our fight is, and I think this is kind of a signature moment, especially compared to a Detroit Lions team that has just struggled these last couple of weeks. While they've obviously got the Cowboys win, and they've had some real great moments on offense. I think that defense gives up a little too much.
Yeah, honestly, this one's tough because I don't like the Lions that much. Yeah. A lot of what you said, but I don't like the Steelers that much either.
We're not a team.
I think this might be like a very high-scoring game. These defenses are
I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game.
Very good. I mean, this obviously I like the Steelers defense better, but I like the Lions offense way better.
Exactly.
So I think Steelers kind of was better on the ground game against the Dolphins and A-Chain, but I mean this scheme and this O-line and these 2 monsters on the backfield is a different story. And then Amon-Ra, I think, had 12 catches, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns last weekend against the passing defense that struggled most of the year. That's why I'm leaning the Lions, because I think that offense is just way, way too powerful to combat that weak defense we've seen most of the year. And I know it's hard to say, but I don't trust 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers to kind of keep up with what I think this offense can put up. But I do think it's going to be close. I think 7 points might be too much. I think it's closer to the 3 to 4 to 5 range.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair assessment. It just, if he shows up with a game like the one, I think it was the Chargers and the Bills games, he didn't play well at all.
Yeah.
If he shows up like he did in those games, we're obviously not going to play well. But I think the Chargers and the Bills defense is actually, the Chargers one's pretty good, but the Bills one's not particularly spectacular. But he's found some momentum. I think that's important, and I think it's the defense he knows, which is very important.
Yeah. All right, that concludes our segment here for the NFL. Before we predict the college football playoff, I know that's what we're all here for. Do you want to go over and see if we predicted our little game day locations correct, man?
We always got to throw back to the beginning of the year. Pay off for the viewers here. Man.
Well, first one, Texas Ohio State. I think it might have been announced by then, but if not,
it was very obvious.
Yeah.
So was the next week, obviously, in
we both got Michigan
SEC,
yeah,
Big Ten, power teams like that. It
in
was
a
always going to be
week.
that.
So we're both 2-0 there. And then week 3, I went A&M Notre Dame. Obviously, wasn't there. And then after, where did you go on that one, man?
Let me see. Let me pull up my script on that one.
Yeah. Well, obviously I don't think you went Georgia, Tennessee. I forgot what you went, but yeah, it ended up being Bama, Tennessee, and I did not get that right. And then week 4, Tech and Utah. I know that wasn't right. I'm trying to remember where that was at.
All right, here we go. Week 3, I went TAMU, Notre Dame.
So we agreed on that.
Yeah.
Too.
But I did mention that, I had 2, and I think I might have switched. I switched to Georgia, Tennessee when we went live. When we shot. That was my prediction.
So you got that one.
Yeah.
And then.
I put the notes where I switched at the end.
Yeah, you're fine. What was the one for week 4?
I went Florida, Miami. That was my prediction.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I forgot. Yeah, so you got that one as well. I went Tech and Utah, got that wrong. And I went Bama and Georgia.
I went Bama, Georgia as well.
Was it? No, it was Oregon,
Penn
State. So we got that wrong. And
I went
Clemson at UNC. Two abysmal teams.
I went to the game that ruined our season.
Uh-huh.
I picked Texas, Florida.
It went. I'm trying to find if they have a list of all these. It went. Where'd it go? Week.
That was.
It was Vandy, Bama.
So.
And Vandy, Bama. And then I went South Carolina, LSU, expecting both teams to be good, and it ended up being Indiana, Oregon. Then I went Tennessee at Bama.
I ran it back with SC. I went OUSC.
Yeah, it was Missouri at Vandy, both wrong.
I ran it with SC a couple weeks. I had Bama SC week 9.
Same. And it was Ole Miss at Georgia.
Mm-hmm. And Penn State, OSU, which Penn State was terrible at this point. So
yeah, I went Penn State, OSU 2. Yeah. I forgot what it was this week, but it obviously wasn't that. And I went Indiana, Penn State, also off on that.
I went LSU, Bama.
Yeah, that was also off.
Yeah.
Then I went Texas, Georgia. It wasn't that, right? No, it ended up being...
No, it went north, didn't it?
Yeah. Let me look. I don't know why this list ended after, week 9. Might have gone to Texas Tech. Was that the same weekend?
Oh, we might be.
Student athletes could now receive unprecedented...
I can't find it, but it obviously did not go
Week
there.
13 is my best guess of the year. Tennessee at Florida.
I did Tennessee at Florida too.
High-powered matchup right there.
I did that too, but it was Ohio State.
Yeah.
No, that was...
No, that was next week.
It was...
I can check.
It doesn't matter.
Right here.
And then week 14 was Ohio State and Michigan. We both got that. So
that one was also a game.
They go in 4 and whatever. But yeah, now we can go straight into the college football playoff predictions. First game, big one, Friday night. We got Bama coming back against Oklahoma. Can they get revenge versus the Sooners in Norman?
I think they can. I think they will. I don't like either of these teams a particularly high amount right now at all. I don't love the way Mateer and Simpson are playing right now after having better games at the beginning of the year. Obviously, I think it's hard to beat a team twice, which is kind of why I'm leaning Alabama on this one. And even with their struggles, I do lean to prefer Simpson, even though there's rumors he might be a little touched coming into the game. We'll see how he does perform. Just because there's just no non-existent rushing game for Alabama, which is my very big concern. 2 very elite defenses, which means I'm going with the QB who I think I can overcome an elite defense. Even though I think it's by a little bit, I'm going with Alabama and the Tide.
I'm going to disagree. I'm actually going to go OU on this one. I think it's obviously very close. I think the spread is Bama by 1.
I mean, when he has receivers like Bernard and Williams, you hope that's, to me, is the difference.
Yeah, I think We saw a lot of the first game. We saw obviously Bama not being able to get much on the rush like they have been a lot this year, and then that unleashed the insane pass rush for OU, and it affected Simpson, and they got to him a lot. I think it's going to be a lot of the similar things, and even though Mateer has not looked the best since he come back, I think he'll do enough to get this win. I haven't liked what I've seen from Bama since before that Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
Obviously against Auburn they didn't look good. Against Georgia they looked awful.
Yeah.
So I think they're just on a down slope, and I do like Oklahoma's defense better than Bama's, and I think that's the strength in this game. And the home crowd at night, Friday night, they canceled school. Even though
school.
I feel like school should be done, but
Us at the way superior school in the Red River rivalry have been done for a couple of days now.
So it's going to be a great game, a great environment for the playoffs, and I'm going to go with the Sooners here. All right, let's move on to this next one. My team, Texas A&M versus Miami in College Station. Which team will get their first CFP win here in Kyle Field?
The team that's hosting is getting their first ever college football playoff win. While I like what Miami has been able to do, I like that defense. I mean, obviously they have one of the best stars in the league in Bain.
Yeah, I don't like that we're already talking crap about him, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't talk.
That's not smart.
There's no sure thing here. Actually, I'm gonna contradict because spoiler, it's one of my best bets. But I do think they're a little healthier than they were. They've had the time to recover. Hopefully, Marcel's Reed. I mean, he obviously came back in at the end of the Texas game, but hopefully his leg is fully operational. I think this is kind of the right game for them. Texas was kind of was built to stop them. I think they focused a lot on that, and I think A&M is going to be at the right moment where they can attack them through the air, which I think is where you're supposed to attack Miami. You have KC, you have hopefully Craver steps up to the way he was early in the air, and Reed's going to be able to put it on the money. My biggest concern is in regards to that Texas A&M defense rushing game. Obviously they were good, but before that Texas game, obviously that's where the concern is now for them.
It was honestly first half they were good. Second half, Wisner and Arch ran all over us.
So I want to be able to see how that. Obviously, I don't think Carson Beck is a rushing threat like Manning was, and that's not the strength of the Miami offense. But I want to see if they can attack that, if they can stop that fully, they can dedicate more to the passing game, which is if A&M does that, which I think they will because they have the personnel to do that. I think they win, and it's Kyle Field, so it's going to be electric.
Yeah, they put us at 11 a.m. though. That's messed up. But anyway.
Well, they had to give Miami a chance.
Yeah.
Plus, who doesn't want to watch Oregon JMU on primetime?
Dude,
that's such an electric game.
That was crazy. But anyway, I agree. Obviously, not just because it's my team. I think also a lot of what you said. I think Miami's not very built rushing attack and passing. Willie's really good. York has his defense playing good, and I think our D-line can get to Beck and kind of fluster him like we've seen and create some turnovers, those interception and fumble. I think that's going to be the difference. I think if Marcel Reed had some turnovers, plenty of games, but if he can take care of the ball and Elko can make him take care of the ball, I think we can take care of business easy because I think we're going to force 2 to 3 turnovers. Not all necessarily Beck, maybe a fumble from someone else, but mostly Beck. And only thing I don't like, I don't know why our line's talking crap about Ruben Bain. He is a certified dog. There's no need to motivate him. There's no accomplishment.
Yeah, there's no need to trash talk a top 10 pick.
Yeah, there's no need to, man. And the worst, there's no good from that. If he does play bad, you don't look like an expert. You just because if he does play bad, it's probably because we're double and triple teaming him. Yeah. So,
and if he plays well,
and he cooks us and we lose bad, then it just looks.
And then
terrible.
you'll always come back to, was it because you gave him all that material to embarrass you?
I think this Miami team is really good. I just think A&M's slightly better in home field advantage. I mean, we saw last year all 4 home teams win the first round, so I'm actually going to pick all 4 home teams again, but the other 2.
The other 2 are obvious.
Yeah, but speaking of the other 2, let's move on here to Ole Miss versus Tulane, 17.5 point spread. No Lane Kiffin. Can they still get the job done?
They're still going to get the job done. I don't think they'll win by 5 touchdowns like they won while they were with Lane Kiffin, but they will win by 2
4.
to 3 to 4. Yeah, it's going to be, they're going to play well. They're keeping the defensive staff. Charlie Weiss Jr. is coming.
Mm-hmm.
He's been given permission to still coach. So they're going to play well offensively. They're going to play well defensively. We're going to be debating next week of whether what we saw was enough to, if they can actually give a threat to whoever they play next week, which is already
Georgia.
set. It's Georgia, yeah. I don't know why I said whoever. I was like, NFL, would it reseed to, and I was like, wait, it's college football. Although I do think reseeding is something college football needs to implement.
They should consider it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it just makes the value of the 1 seed
more valuable.
Like, there's no need to be playing the 8 or 9 for the 1 seed.
Yeah,
they should have
I
a
agree.
chance. Yeah.
But, no, yeah, I think... I mean, I don't even want to analyze this too much. I mean, we saw it earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Blowout. I think it's going to be a lot of the same. And
Tulane's coach is also leaving, so he's...
Yeah.
Yes, he's still coaching them, but half is already at Florida, so...
So, yeah, I don't know much else to say. I think Trinidad's just going to have a stat-padding game.
Mm-hmm.
Casey's going to have 2 touchdowns, and it's going to be an embarrassment along with this next game, and then maybe people start considering the seedings. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying it's going to be a conversation.
It's going to be a conversation.
Yeah. All right, speaking of that awful next game, primetime, Oregon versus JMU.
Rightfully deserving, very electric atmosphere that's going to be way cooler than A&M against a good team like Miami. Oregon is going to win. Oregon is going to dominate.
Mm-hmm. Dante Moore
is going to cement his.
Look like
he's going to look like $1 million. He's going to be a slam dunk top 5 pick after what he drops in the playoffs against JMU, a team whose coach is also leaving. So.
But JMU, great introduction to. I mean, they've been here for a while, but quick ascension to Division I. They're in the playoffs. Good for them. But I mean, I think they're playing the best team that doesn't have a first round bye in the Oregon Ducks. And they screwed him even more by putting it on prime time. They couldn't even catch him still sleeping. Like they caught him wide awake.
You also allowed them to have the Oregon Stadium just rocking.
Yeah, so Oregon definitely needed that stadium to be rocking. But yeah, I think spread's 21.5. I think it's around there. I could see maybe.
I could see it. I
could see way more, but I could see also maybe Oregon struggling a little bit in the first half, maybe taking them too lightly and then exploding in the second and end up winning by 21-28. But yeah, that's all we got for this one. I mean, let's go into our whole bracket prediction here. We kind of spoke about our first round games. Let's not go too in depth into these later games, just who you got progressing through the bracket. I'll pull up a graphic now. We can start with yours.
All right. As I already mentioned, I have Bama winning in the 8-9 game. I have JMU upsetting Oregon with that electric atmosphere. No, the Ducks are moving forward. So is Ole Miss that we just mentioned, and then A&M's moving forward. Alabama is going to Indiana, and they're going to lose. I think this is now where you're looking at a team that has a good defense and a good offense that just beat what I called the best team in college football a year, cementing themselves as the best team in college football. I have Indiana going through. The 5 seed would be the Tech game, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be Oregon Tech. I have Oregon getting the win here. I have never been the biggest supporter of Tech all year. I'm going to stand by that. I've liked Oregon. I think they're going to have the advantage at quarterback. I think they're kind of only in the position they are at 5 because they lost to the best team in the country by 10. So I'm going with Oregon. I think Lanning is a better coach. I think Moore's the better quarterback, and they have an elite defense and weapons galore as well. So, Ole Miss, Georgia. I think Georgia already beat them when they were at their best. When Ole Miss was at their best and Georgia wasn't at their best. I think Georgia's at their best right now, and I don't think Ole Miss is at their best. I think Georgia wins. And that leaves Texas A&M versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. As I just said, I called Ohio State Buckeyes the best team in college football all year. They beat Texas. Texas just beat A&M. It kind of translates. I'm going Ohio State, which sets us up for what it would be 2 versus
Oregon,
3.
Indiana, Georgia,
Oregon,
Ohio State.
Indiana. I'm going with Indiana. They get their lick again on Oregon, although I think this game's going to be a little more exciting, a little closer. I think Indiana gets it again, and I think that sets up Indiana, Georgia in the national championship. I think Georgia shows up. I think Kirby outcoaches. I think they've been finding momentum at the right time. I think Sane's a little young. I think he stumbles at one point, even though he's been phenomenal all year, and I really like him. I think he's going to be a slam dunk top 10 pick at one point, but I think he stumbles. I'm going Georgia, Indiana, and I'm taking the Hoosiers to win it all.
Wow. We have kind of similar, man. Obviously, the only difference in those first rounds, I had OU over Bama. I will say, guys, last year predicted every game correct except I try to pick Boise over Penn State. But I predicted the exact final pre-postseason. So, listen. All right. Then I got, obviously, Tech, Oregon. I also got Oregon winning. I love what you said. I do think Tech's defense is really good, but phenomenal. I think Oregon's defense matches up, and I love Oregon's offense. That's why I didn't say necessarily better.
I just said Oregon's an elite defense.
I think that Oregon offense is way more powerful than that Tech offense, so I am going to pick Oregon to take that one. Then I got Oklahoma, Indiana. I mean, even if I pick Bama, I think Indiana moves on with ease. They've proved every test so far, especially after that ugly defensive win against the best roster in the country. Then I got Georgia, Ole Miss. If Lane Kiffin was there, honestly, I would pick Ole Miss. I think this Ole Miss team is really good, and that offense is special. But without him, we saw Georgia beat them in a shootout. I think it's going to be more of the same. I think this Georgia defense has improved since then. And I am going to go Georgia here. And then this next one, A&M, Ohio State. Obviously, heart's leaning one way, brain's leaning another. But I think whatever happens, whoever wins this is going to lose the next round. So maybe I have us surviving one more round and I have us beating Ohio State just because. Hey, all the teams I had by, most of them except, Arizona State. And two of them, but that was because the seating was weird.
Yeah.
But the other ones, the teams that had to buy lost because there was too much time off. I think this could affect this Ohio State team. I think Sane would struggle if he doesn't this game, next game against Georgia. So for the fun of it, I'm going to pick A&M and the bias of it. Then I got Indiana, Oregon. We saw it earlier this year in Oregon, that crazy atmosphere. I think Indiana gets it done again. And then unfortunately here, I am going to pick Georgia. I think they're just better in most aspects.
Yeah.
And this team's really good, hot at the right time, and Kirby Smart knows how to win playoff games. And then this is where I disagree. I'm going to pick Georgia to win it all.
It's very fair. I think it's going to be an electric game. I think it's going to be very close.
It's going to be.
I think they're
really
the two best coaches in college football.
I think best two coaches, best two teams, not necessarily rosters on paper. Yeah. I think Ohio State's up there, or is number one.
Is number one on paper.
I think this kind of reminds me a lot of how in the mid-2010s, Bama won most of their championships defensively, and then 2020 offensive explosion. I think we saw, obviously, early 2020s, it was mostly Georgia's defense leading the pack, and now it's kind of offensively. I think it's kind of like that. And I do think Georgia and Kirby Smart get back to the mountaintop and stop this 2 in a row from the Big Ten on the Natty.
3 in a row from the Big Ten.
Well, yeah, but 2 before.
In the 12.
Yeah. Well, no, it would be... Yeah. Well, I mean, like, they've won 2 in a row before, so they'll stop at 2.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
So, yeah, I'm going to pick Georgia, but we have the same final, and, yeah, I think that's how I'm going to break down. I don't know about the games in between, but I do think it's Georgia, Indiana at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Georgia and Indiana, I think we've both solidified the same pick. Obviously, the second closest option for me would be Ohio State beating Georgia and it being
they're getting
Big
bounced
Ten
in the
match.
quarterfinals. So.
We're bouncing out.
Yeah, but thank you guys for watching. Enjoy these playoffs. Yeah, we'll get back to you next week. It's Christmas. We won't upload next week, but we'll upload before those quarterfinal games.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for watching, and have a great Christmas, New Year's. Well, we'll see you before New Year's, but everything else. Thank you guys.